made a video several weeks ago where I talked about that the pandemic was getting under control in Iceland. Well, in case you can't tell, I was a bit naive on that. In fact, I think we were all a bit naive. I mean, the entire country was. But, you know, 2 or 3 days ago, the number of new cases in Iceland reached, I believe, 16 or 17 recorded cases in a single day, which is still, as you can see on some of these graphs that I'm going to put on screen, way under the worst periods, which was around the end of March, beginning of April, when I believe for several days there were actually over 100 cases recorded on a daily basis. So yeah, so this is not nearly as bad as that. However, we were almost entirely case-free from beginning of June until, you guessed it, until the borders were reopened. Now, the borders were not entirely reopened. There are still a lot of countries that I believe you cannot come from at all, unless if you're an Icelandic citizen or have some whatever particular pressing issue to reason to come to Iceland. But in July, for example, they exempted, yes, and everybody who comes through into the country has to get tested, but of course the tests take some time to, you know, they don't work right away, so people are allowed to into the country, but are then traced and asked to come in for quarantine if they come out as positive. Now, people from the Nordic countries and Germany were exempt from having been tested in July because these were countries that were considered relatively safe. What's that? Oh, I'm sorry. The Nordic countries, except you, Sweden. Oh, fuck. Now I have to sanitize my hands. But of course this uptick in cases here is following a rather large global trend. That is, it seems that almost every week there is a new world record on amount of cases recorded each day. I believe the current record stands at 250,000 a day, which happened like 2 days ago. And, you know, and given how many countries there are out there where the, you know, infrastructure probably doesn't support a very good, well, disease tracking system, we can assume that there are way more cases out there, especially in the developing world. But yeah, also a handful of Western nations have suffered surprisingly badly in this pandemic. So we can still, my people, we can still be pretty glad that we live here and not in many other places of the world. Now, there is a very fierce debate in Iceland on the borders of whether or not they should be closed again or not. And, well, I think it's definitely true that the reason why we're seeing uptick in cases right now is because that people were being let in. However, I still want to maintain that that's only part of the reason. I think also people just got sloppy and careless. People didn't sanitize their hands as much as they used to. You know, nobody wore a mask, and people started to ignore or social distancing guidelines were dropped, and people therefore didn't adhere to them. So it's much easier now for the disease to re-emerge than it would have been in, say, middle of June or something. But then again, maybe the reason why people got so careless was because of the false sense of security that everyone got when they saw the cases drop so significantly in June. I mean, I stopped counting at some point, but I believe there was an entire 2-week period where there were no single cases reported anywhere in Iceland. So yeah. Now, like I said, 2 days ago or whatever, we had 17 cases or thereabout recorded in a single day, and so far, you know, it's nothing near like the almost 100 cases a day as it was at the end of March, and so far no new deaths have occurred, so, you know, could be much worse, but all we know for sure is that we're not out of the woods yet, so this situation is going to continue on for some time. But to end on a bright side, because there's always a bright side to everything, I don't think I've ever lived through a single period in history where there has been such an abundance of great takeaway offers from various restaurants and establishments. I mean, if it's unsafe to go out and eat, obviously the restaurants have to keep themselves going anyway, so yeah, I'm currently living in a golden age of home-delivered fast foods, and sadly I'm enjoying that a lot. Anyway, maybe, hopefully the next video will not have to deal with the pandemic, but you know, whatever. Keep a stiff upper lip and, you know, look on the bright side, whatever that might be. Always look on the bright side of life. Oh yeah, one more thing. I recently noticed that my subscriber count went over 200 for the first time, or the first time on this channel at least. Thanks a lot for that, it means a lot to me. I was thinking about when I reached 200 subscribers that I would do a video about myself, just talk a little bit about, you know, what exactly is my story and how I ended up here. But I've sort of neglected on that. I may make a video about that any time when I have the time and patience, but yeah, I was unable to make such a video ready on the day that I reached, or that I went over 200 subscribers, but I still plan on probably making a video like that, but then again I plan on making a bunch of videos that I never do, so yeah, we'll just have to see. But anyway, thanks again for you know, liking and subscribing and commenting on my videos. Please continue on, and yeah, hopefully there'll be 300, 400 or thousands of subscribers in the future, but you know, I make myself no unattainable goals in this, you know. Every subscriber to me is just fine, you know. Any new subscriber, that is. Yeah.